So I've been mostly working on the interface and selection, creation and placing of buildings, things like that. Polishing it up, making it look a little bit nicer so that at least I kind of have an idea of um, what visuals I'm going for, as well as making it intuitive, hopefully. So the selection of the buildings is back. It now does have a shader that allows you to kind of see it through. If you have troops selected and whatnot, it will show through walls and buildings and stuff. So I was hoping that will make it easier to track the selected, like, again, if you have units moving or something like that, it'll be easier to follow them. You can see there is a context menu now. The context menu does work while you're moving things around. Then there's this menu over here, which I'm thinking is going to be like a selection menu. Like as you're hovering over things, it might give information. I don't know. I might get rid of it. I'm trying to figure out the UI right now. Um, If you double click the terrain, it does a create building menu, and if you highlight buildings or select a building, it's going to give you the contextual menu for that building. So right now it says demolish or open building. I'm thinking open building will probably only be available for single selection, and then if you did multiple selection, you wouldn't get that open building option. Um, uh, if you do choose to demolish building, it will give you a delete building prompt. This is just a new prompt thing that I'm added. I might shrink it a little bit. It looks kind of big right now that I'm looking at it, but just allows us to have confirmation prompts really easily and customize what it looks like whenever we need to. So this prevents you from deleting, and if you hit delete, it confirms and runs it through the automation manager as well, removing the node ID that's associated with it for production. Um, if I double click the terrain to create the building, you get your create building menu. It has different filters now for the interface types. If I choose one, it will give information, and then you can create it if you have enough resources, which is not implemented yet. And you can see I have changed the animation a little bit. You got this new grid as well as the selection indicator. And if you collide, that selection indicator does change to a red to prevent you from placing. You can see I can't confirm. Um, I changed the keybinds and whatnot a little bit because it was interfering with some existing commands in Unity, specifically Alt. So we got rid of Alt, and instead, if you hit Shift, it has a snapping toggle. So you can see that does snap to the grid. And if I hit Shift again, it untoggles and it becomes free snapping. Um, if I hold Control, well, clicking, you can see it gives me the dial, which is kind of cool because the transparency allows you to see the whole clockwork. And then it rotates along with that. Holding snap will snap it still, and not holding, but toggling snap, and then untoggling allows you to free rotate like it did before. There's also now a arrow indicator for when you're moving up and down. It's no longer a weird red object. Um, and then again, if you place it in the way, it does not let you. So if I hit confirm, there you go. Double click create building. Let's do this forge here. There's also that snapping mode like before, not snapping, but nudge mode. So if I do that, you can see it moves it around. Interestingly, that's kind of trippy. The transparency Z fighting is a little bit goofy here, so I'll need to work on that. But yeah, when you're in nudge mode with tab, it toggles on and off nudge mode. You can use Q and E to move up and down, WASD to move around, and control will rotate. And you can see it does take into account the collision rather than just the grid position like Advent DS did. So then I confirm, and you can see, oh, I placed it in the sky, so demolish. I might give it either an option to toggle transparency or just end up going with a non-transparent or not as transparent placement indicator, because as you saw before, it was kind of hard to tell that that was floating. So, and then, yeah, the demolish does work. One thing I did notice is if I click something and then click away, um, it still counts as a selected item. So I need to work on clearing that. And then after that, I'd say it's probably persistence and whatnot before we get to cost, which means I'm going to have to introduce resource nodes, and that whole beginning phase will kind of be finished. But that's all I have for right now.